Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We're reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 36. śṛṇvanti gāyanti gṛṇanty abhīkṣṇaśaḥ smaranti nandanti tavehitaṁ janāḥ taeva paśyanty acireṇa tāvakaṁ bhava-pravāhoparamaṁ padāmbujam. O Kṛṣṇa, those who continuously hear, chant and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Purport. The Supreme Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa cannot be seen by our present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing a different condition of life, full of spontaneous love of Godhead. When Sri Kṛṣṇa was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha and Sishupala were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it is not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are generally heard, chanted, repeated, etc. by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord eye to eye. The reason is that the first item, śṛṇvana, is very important. If hearing is from the right sources, it acts very quickly. Generally, people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized persons may be very learned by academic qualifications, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service, hearing from them becomes a sheer waste of time. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes become automatically perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwaraka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people, in an unauthorized hearing process, take more interest in hearing about his dealings with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such hearings. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning. as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scriptures. And that will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. One should not, therefore, consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane attachment. In all the above mentioned dealings of the Lord, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Om Dhyana Tindrandasya Kyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, these are the very famous shlokas of Kunti Devi's prayers, and this has been particularly picked today. I don't know for what reason, but specifically. śṛṇvanti, gāyanti, gṛṇanty, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ, smaranti, nandanti, tavehitaṁ janāḥ, paśyanty acireṇa tāvakaṁ, bhava-pravāhoparamaṁ, padāmbujam. This is Kunti Devi. She is speaking her realization that if people glorify you like this, śṛṇvanti, gāyanti, gṛṇanty, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ, that they indulge in spending their time continuously, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ, continuously they hear about you, chant your glories, and partake of association of such personalities who speak, then there is no doubt that very soon, acireṇa tāvakaṁ, very soon they will be able to see your lotus feet. Bhava-pravāhoparamaṁ padāmbujam. They will see your lotus feet. This is a guarantee given by Kunti Devi. And what is Kunti Devi got to do with this, and why is she the person we should accept as a guarantor? Well, if you see the life of the Pandavas, if you see the life of Kunti Devi, you can see that they were persons like this. Not just chanting the glories alone, they were actually involved in day-to-day activities along with Kṛṣṇa, in executing the order of Kṛṣṇa, in satisfying Kṛṣṇa at any cost, and glorifying Kṛṣṇa also. Yudhishthira Maharaj glorified Kṛṣṇa during the Rajasuya Yajna. Many great personalities also glorified Kṛṣṇa during the Rajasuya Yajna and told him he is a fit person to receive worship. In this way, not only publicly but privately also, he was constantly given great importance and glorification. That was the activity of the Pandavas. And because of that, they were always able to see Kṛṣṇa, always able to relate with Kṛṣṇa, always able to get his attention, always able to get many of their problems solved by Kṛṣṇa. This is a reality. This is how it works. God, the Supreme Lord, Absolute Truth, Kṛṣṇa, He is waiting to reciprocate with your devotional feelings. This is a statement that Prabhupada has made. Kṛṣṇa is hungry for your love. Remember this statement, that you may not be looking at him, you may not be paying attention to him, but he is waiting to hear from you, waiting to reciprocate with you. There's one statement we should believe in. So potentially, there is a great benefit if we simply turn our face, and even though we may not believe in many things, turn around and do it out of a little faith. What is that? śṛṇvanti, gāyanti, gṛṇanty, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ, smaranti, nandanti, tavehitaṁ janāḥ. Chayeva paśyanty acireṇa tāvakaṁ. Paśyanty, very soon they will see. These are all very true expressions. Paśyanty, very soon they will see. with their own eyes, with their own self. Paśyanty, acireṇa, tāvakaṁ. So, why is Kunti Devi saying this? Because she has experienced it. She is speaking out of experience here. And in the same recollection, she is having Kṛṣṇa in front of her. She is seeing Kṛṣṇa in front of her. Kṛṣṇa is leaving for Dwaraka. And she, with tearful eyes, is telling, you are everything for us. Don't leave. Don't forget me. Don't forget us. If not for you, nothing would have happened. She credits Kṛṣṇa with everything. She credits Kṛṣṇa with being the absolute truth. Namashe Purusam Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param. Supreme Lord who is beyond this Prakriti. Alakshayam Sarvabhutanam, not visible to everybody in this world. Antar Bahir Avastitam, inside and outside you are situated. This is a definition of the absolute truth. She's a very intelligent, highly educated lady. And very deep experience she has had. She has suffered miseries. She has been through the whole lousy aspect of material life, but never forgetting Kṛṣṇa. So she's speaking out of experience. In my opinion, Kṛṣṇa, śṛṇvanti, gāyanti, gṛṇanty, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ, smaranti, nandanti, tavehitaṁ, janāḥ. So we should take the words of experience. One thing is the words of the Shastra, education and knowledge. The other thing is experience. You see, when a grahastha speaks this experience towards the end of his life, we should take it very seriously. Why? You know, brahmachari life is meant for study, knowledge, cultivation of information and all this under the aegis of the guru. You work according to what the guru says. Then grahastha life, you don't see much of study, learning, sitting and all that unless you're a brahmana whose main profession is this. Grahastha life, you bring up a family, you have responsibilities, you may have assumed responsibilities in the kingdom as a kshatriya or elsewhere as a vaishya, or even you may be anything. Whatever it is, you start applying what you learned in knowledge. You start applying, follow dharma properly, follow the Vedic culture. And since you have learned, these are the things I have learned, this is the way I will do. Knowledge followed by action, grahastha life. And then you get a tremendous amount of experience, experiential knowledge, vijnana, based on what you led through, what you learned in your brahmachari life under the guru. And then you entered grahastha life. That's when you practice detachment, control of the senses, control of the mind, control of anger, because you're thrown into a situation where you have to do it. And then when you've done enough of it, you become very deeply realized about the content of the scripture in practice and in action. Because you're doing all these things depending on Kṛṣṇa. Then you say, I had it, enough, thank you, vanaprastha. Vanaprastha means, okay, now I'm going to break away gradually from this. Spend more time traveling, more time visiting the Lord's holy place. It's like a transition period before sannyas. And I may not want my wife with me at all. In fact, if you want, you can come with me, but I don't have any association of any sort with you. Preparing myself to completely quit. Then at a certain point of time, you understand in vanaprastha life also you have a lot of realization because it's a life of austerity. It's a life of abstinence. It's a life of realization, both in knowledge and in actual experience, and you reflect it. Then in sannyas life, you completely give it off. Everything you give off. I am totally dependent only on Kṛṣṇa. I am totally dependent on Kṛṣṇa. This is knowledge in function and practice from brahmacharya life onwards. So sometimes when people tell me that, you're spending your time reading, it's very good, especially if you're a youngster. It's very nice. But it's not very nice for a youngster to be reading the whole day, chanting the whole day and sitting as Ramacharya, Haridas Thakur somewhere. This is imitation. So Kunti Devi's realizations is coming out of putting to practice what she has heard. Along with her sons, she was in the forest. She went Banavas. She was suffering a lot in separation. First of all, she didn't have her husband, Pandu, who left her. And then her sons were super good. They were all superheroes. I mean, if at all I want to make a series with superheroes, Marvel and whatever I see, all these great personalities, spoken about, super duper heroes, Superman, Spider-Man, and all sorts of new characters nowadays I see. If at all you wanted to talk about any real superheroes, these are the 5 superheroes. Bhima, Arjuna, and all of them. And her sons were like that, and she knew about it. And because of that, they attracted a lot of envy from the Kauravas, especially Duryodhana. And she had to suffer watching them suffer. You be with your children and they are married and then they go through horrible things and you watch all of them. Your daughter-in-law's child is massacred by Ashwatthama. Children are massacred by Ashwatthama. Then your son's son, Arjuna's son, Abhimanyu's son, Parikshit, is attacked by Ashwatthama using a Brahmastra. Right? So it's mentioned, Drauni astratas chashma abhirakshita. She's telling that also in this prayer. You watch all these things and you see how Kṛṣṇa is protecting you. And it is not that because Kṛṣṇa is protecting you, you're free from all these miseries either. Anybody who's in the material world, even if he's next to him protected by Kṛṣṇa, is going through many things. Arjuna went through many things. He saw his son killed in the battlefield, Abhimanyu, in a wrong manner against Kshatriya principles. So it's not that because Kṛṣṇa is next to me, I don't suffer the material consequences. You do suffer, but you don't get affected by it to the extent that you would normally get affected, right? So here is experiential wisdom from Kunti Devi. I have understood for sure that glorification of you is the highest. Smaranti, śṛṇvanti, gāyanti, gṛṇanty, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ. So we should take these experiences of great personalities. That's why the Bhagavatam we should read and understand. We don't have to go through and experience the whole thing. If you're intelligent enough, you take these experiences. So what do? In this day and age, I chant Hare Kṛṣṇa very sincerely. It's far, far simpler for me to experience the same thing that Kunti Devi is saying now than it would have been at that time. Now it's coming as a package fully to you. Please chant Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's one thing, don't offend, don't commit offenses. Please read beautiful books, so nicely illustrated, given to you by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Don't be lazy about it. Sit down and read and reflect on it every day. Think about it. It's not about simply reading alone. Of course, that also is good. Study it. Get into it. Move into it. I wish there was, Bhagavatam series like Game of Thrones or something. They make all these fantastic absorbing things for the material world. And people get into the wrong track, full of sex and violence and everything. I wish they would make a Bhagavatam series, a Mahabharata series, Ramayana series, with all the high tech, especially Bhagavatam, and bring out the beautiful aspect of Bhakti, bring out the beautiful aspect of the personality of Kṛṣṇa, and people will be more deeply involved in remembering Kṛṣṇa. I think it's going to happen in times to come, right? So get into it. Get into the Bhagavatam, step into it. Step into the pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. It has been made so simple and easy by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And all the previous acharyas are watching it. If you put it to use, Prabhupada complained that my books are not just for distributing, my books are for reading. You must read it. So that's why in the Bhaktivedanta Academy, we are making a lot of effort now to teach Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, and conduct other type of courses and everything. Right? So, experience is what Kunti Devi is giving. And, when you speak about knowledge, sometimes you don't so much, oh, it's mentioned in the Shastras, so what? I mean, how do I believe this? How do I know? You could have other things. But somebody who's done actually what's mentioned in the Shastra and speaking to you and telling you, I believe in it because I went through the following things. I have enjoyed and secured myself in the protection of Kṛṣṇa. I've seen that he protects his devotees. Those who do this, śṛṇvanti, gāyanti, gṛṇanty, abhīkṣṇaśaḥ, smaranti, nandanti, tavehitaṁ janāḥ, paśyanty, acireṇa, tāvakaṁ. Those who do this, not only will they get to see the lotus feet of the Lord, they get full protection from him. And there is no protection anywhere in this entire creation like the protection of Kṛṣṇa. It's got nothing to do with your life insurance, your health insurance, your family members, your property, your money in the bank, all these things which we, put our great faith in and think that we'll be protected by that. All of them are nothing compared to the protection of Kṛṣṇa. Rake Kṛṣṇa, mare Kṛṣṇa, rake ke. Prabhupada very nicely said that if Kṛṣṇa desires to finish you, who in the entire creation can protect you? Your money, your bank balance, your insurance, nothing. At the same time, the opposite is, if Kṛṣṇa decides to protect you, who can do any harm to you? Right? It's a beautiful phrase, this one. Rake Kṛṣṇa, mare Kṛṣṇa, rake ke. It's the best insurance policy. Right? So we should take these words of Kunti Devi very deeply, internally, because, like I mentioned, it's sort of experience. And you see in the sloka, in this beautiful Kunti Stuti, she is coming out with the reality. She's speaking her experience. And then she's requesting Kṛṣṇa at the end, even the Pandavas, Chindanti, I want to cut my affection. I want my affection to only flow for you. Gange Vaugham Udanvati. Right? Please let my affection flow just like Ganges rushes and gushes and flows into the sea without any impediment. Just like that, I want my affection and love and everything to flow only towards you. Only towards you. Such great personalities. Kunti Devi may be in a female body, but she is such a great pure devotee. So any situation you are in the material world, even you could be in an animal's body, you can experience pure devotion to Kṛṣṇa by just following these principles, which Kunti Devi is speaking about. We have this great opportunity in this day and age, by the mercy of Prabhupada, to indulge in the Harinam Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya, to hear the Bhagavatam, hear the Bhagavad Gita. These are all the real cream of Vedic culture. And that alone we are doing. We don't have to think it's a shortcut. We don't have to think it's only meant for Kali Yuga people. No. What has been given to you is the cream and fed to you right into your mouth by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You don't have to do all the other hard work that people did in the past to come to this point. You're already at the point. You just need to execute with faith, with love, with sincerity, with interest. These are simple things, and you will get the greatest benefit that any human being could have ever got, anytime, right? Love of Godhead, prema. And that's what Kunti Devi is reveling in. And Kṛṣṇa knows, he patiently hears her whole prayer. And he takes leave of her, blessing her, because she's such a wonderful devotee. What a wonderful devotee. life checkered with so many things Kunti Devi has in life. Right from the beginning, when she satisfied Durvasa Muni as a young, beautiful girl, and he gave her a boon and she tried it out, and then by a mistake, she did this, chanted this mantra, and Surya came in and she got impregnated. She was pregnant and she was so scared what will happen. And then she let loose the kid in the stream. That was Kṛṣṇa. And then she got married to Pandu. And then Pandu, fathered, children. He was cursed also, and she had to leave with Pandu to the forest. He gave up the kingdom to Dhritarashtra and everybody. And he passed away in the forest also because of the curse. And then she was burdened with keeping all these children, including Madri's children, was also Pandu's wife. And Madri, she had to watch Madri immolating herself. And then she was left alone with all the Pandavas, young boys. And then she had to bring them up. She had to bring them back to the palace. And right from the young age itself, there was intrigue and politics, and Duryodhana and gang were deadly political people. They were very envious of the Pandavas because they were highly qualified, kingly, really Kshatriyas. They had it in their blood. So Duryodhana started his feeling that the kingdom has to be coveted by me and not by you. He did all his politics. Right from young age, he watched all these things. Right up to their marriage with Draupadi, and then Draupadi getting disrobed and being sent to the forest and suffered in the forest. You name it, all sorts of things happen. See, mrde aneka maharatashtato drauni astrataschaśma hare virakshita. She recollects all these difficulties that have been through, and all along you have been protecting us. Now I understand, right? Silently from behind, you have been the key force, you've been protecting us. So feelingly, she is offering this wisdom of her experience. Better we chant Hare Krishna as much as we can. Then spread it to others. It says that here in the shloka, it says, takes pleasure in others also doing so. Smaranti, nandanti, tavehitaṁ janāḥ. paśyanty, acireṇa, tāvakaṁ. So it's a great pleasure also to see other people chanting Hare Krishna and take up Krishna consciousness. In fact, it's the greatest of pleasures to see another person transform himself, take up chanting of the holy name, depend on Krishna, and read the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and mature himself in Krishna consciousness. When we watch them doing it, we feel, wow, it gets reinforced in us also. So this is the life that's given to us by Prabhupada, the cream of the most sophisticated of occupations for a human being, for a spirit soul. Leave alone a human being, for a spirit soul. This is what eternally all spirit souls are doing and reveling in it with great pleasure. Somehow, because of a material condition, we are not able to revel in it fully. We are in the sadhana level maybe, but gradually that also happens. So these are some of the wonderful realizations we can get from Kunti Devi's prayers, especially the one today. And that is what we are trying to do. That is what is Prabhupada's mission is based on this shloka of Kunti Devi. Namer ruchi jivere doya, like Bhakti Vinoda Thakur said. Namer ruchi means enjoying chanting of the holy name, enjoying glorification of Kṛṣṇa. Then jivere doya, because you have mercy for other people also, giving it to them. And when they do it, relishing it. When you show mercy by becoming a conduit for transferring this information and others pick it up, you also get pleasure. Wow, very good. Somehow I'm an instrument in this person becoming Krishna conscious. Thank you, my Lord, for giving me this opportunity of service. I'm just a nobody, but you're using me. So everything is so wonderful about Krishna consciousness. And everything is so stupid if you don't take it up. And worse still, after having taken it up, you spoil it with materialism. So we should live carefully. The opportunity should not be given up. Karna was given an opportunity to recover. Kṛṣṇa personally told him that, you are a Pandava. Maybe you want to reconsider. Whatever had happened in the past, forget it. You want to reconsider, get back to my shelter and be with the Pandavas, because definitely they're going to win. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. And Karna made a foolish decision. He decided, no, I have to keep up my word to Duryodhana. As though that word matters so much. And the Absolute Truth, Supreme Lord is coming and telling you, it doesn't matter. I'll look after that. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja ham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami. Ma sucha, don't fear. Those small things now I look after. You make the major decision that I'll remain surrendered to Kṛṣṇa. Like Kunti Devi has made the major decision throughout. We shall remain surrendered to Kṛṣṇa. Whatever happens, and we'll turn out victorious at the end. So, we should learn amazing things from Kunti Devi's prayers for our own personal spiritual life. We should have firm conviction in the chanting of the holy name. Like Prabhupada is saying brilliantly in the purport. We should have this conviction. And by this conviction and by this execution of devotional service, we are going to be benefited. Om Tat Sat, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, gṛṇṭrāt Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Nitai Guru Premanande. I'm ending here. Thank you very much for your audience and for your time and for considering these instructions of Kunti Devi. Thank you.